In this photo of Brandon and Lisa, the couple, everybody loved them actually. They was reaching 1 year, and they did, so they wanted to celebrate their 1 year anniversary, and they wanted to go to Disneyland. I'm sorry, California, but Disney World better. But Disneyland was so expensive for them, so they was like, you know what, we cannot go here. We have to figure something else out for our anniversary. So the two decided to go camping and stargazing in this beautiful desert in Arizona. Much cheaper, plus it's beautiful. Then we can spend a long quality time together in nature. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong. But something did, because in the videos I make, 90% of the time things always go wrong. Now camping really don't have that much craziness to it when you think about it. Like most people who go camping, they enjoy their time out, and that's that. Not many of you who went camping a lot of times have crazy camping stories. You have to go so many times to possibly get that one crazy camping story, because usually only a few things can happen. You go to an area and you get lost. You either run into some creep, or a natural disaster happens. Whether it's from animals, whether it's a volcano eruption, whether it's bad weather, anything of that nature. So most people, including you, is probably not afraid of camping, and it don't have to be inside of woods, because I know some of you is afraid of those woods. It can be anywhere, literally anywhere. Like woods, desert, or somewhere in the snow, like how people do for Mount Everest. This couple on a camping day decided to get in this pickup truck that Lisa got from her mother. So the couple gets in the truck, and the first thing that they do is drive and drive and drive. It takes a lot of time to get here, but they wanted to stop at the grocery store because they came up with an idea to get a disposable camera. They wanted to take some pictures as they at this place. So when they go to the store, they found their camera, and then they get back in their pickup truck and they drive and drive. Now, it wasn't a specific spot that they was looking for. They was just going to the area, and they found this road called Bumblebee Desert Road in Arizona. Now, if you look at this road and this whole entire area, you can see that it's just desert with a couple of hills in the background. For me, honestly, I don't like camping in this type of vibe. I would definitely prefer cabin in the woods or going somewhere in nature, waterfall type vibe. I cannot do deserts. Now, I understand the reason why they are going is because they're secluded, and plus they want to go stargazing. This is the main reason. Very, very beautiful.
The location, Bumblebee Road. The perfect place, they thought, for an overnight trip together. They took a video camera and bought a disposable camera on their way to document the night.
So Bumblebee Road felt perfect for them. They loved it a lot, and that's truly all that matters. But the two sadly was not alone on Bumblebee Road. It was someone else who was in this area, and this person wasn't there for the good reasons they was there for. Look at the chills! I be into these stories. Literally, y'all got y'all snacks? Oh, I forgot to do the GGYS. GGYS, go get your snacks. Food, dinner, dessert. Shout out Korea's Kitchen. I'm not even going to do the outro because I'm too deep in the video. But love y'all for having y'all snacks. Thank you. Hug. Okay, back to the story. But they was not alone. Someone else was with them. So basically, they was in the path of something that they was not prepared for at all. And when they realized that, it was already too late. Now, they was only supposed to go camping for that following night and then come back the next day. And they did not return. So, of course, the family immediately on both sides was scared, because the couple told everyone who they're close with, we're going camping. We're going to celebrate our anniversary, 1 year anniversary, but we're going to go to this desert and we're going to have a good time stargazing, having the time of our life. But remember, like I said, they wasn't really choosing a specific area. They just wanted to go in this desert area where it's secluded, where they can stargaze. So the family didn't really know exactly where they was at. They just knew that they was far out and they had to drive a bit. The mother of Lisa decided to call a missing report really quick, because what mother would not? And the friends of Brandon and some of the family members decided to get in the car and actually drive to Bumblebee Road, but they just didn't know where exactly at that they was going to find them. So it was going to be some searching, which they did do. And as they're searching this desert, hot, wide open, in the middle of nowhere, eventually, after some hours, long hours, they found this white pickup truck at this camping site. Now immediately they wanted to panic, but they didn't. They just rushed to the scenery. Now next to this campsite area, in the bedding of the truck, was the couple who was brutally gunned down. Some feet back, the friends also noticed this disposable camera just laying there, so they picked it up. And when investigators got to this crime scene, they noticed, and the friends and the family, they all noticed something that was so strange. First, it was nothing stolen from the two at all. No robbery, no anything. They both had their wallets, they had their cards, they had everything important at this scene. Nothing was ransacked, nothing was out of the ordinary at all. It was like this was just purpose intent, and then that person just left. But the investigators also know that, yes, this was not a mistake at all. Now, I want you to realize that there is one clue evidence that can solve this whole case that went completely cold. The camera. The camera that the friends saw that they pick up, and it was like, wow, just a disposable camera. Well, when investigators went through this camera, they seen a picture, a couple of them. The first one you see is Lisa at the bed of this car, smiling, looking beautiful, loving their anniversary, enjoying life. Now, in the background, it's completely dark and eerie. Somebody's just stalking them, and they don't know it in this big desert. Then Brandon like, okay, my turn. Here, you take a picture. So Brandon get ready. He poses up, crosses his arms up, open his legs a little bit. She takes the picture in the bedding of the trunk. Now this is crazy to think, like very disturbing to think about, because remember, in the morning they was gonna pack and leave. So that means right after taking these photos of this creep stalking them, they was murdered. Now there's this third photo that investigators decided to send out to the public so we can see, and it may can solve this case. But the reason why they sent this photo out to the public is because you can't really make out what's going on in this photo. Here it is. Now in this third photo, this is a photo that you have to look at and look at and look at. So I'm not gonna show this photo for a couple of seconds. I just want you to look at this photo as I talk and see if you see anything suspicious, because a lot of people do believe that this photo was kind of taken during the murder, like during the disaster happening. Now in this photo though, you see like a lamp, and you see like these vines coming down, and then you see a wall. The reason why this is kind of like disturbing is because it almost looks like it's in a home, but it's obviously not in a home. Probably it can't be, because it was found in the desert. This is the vibe that this photo is giving people, and I understand and I get it, but there was way in the middle of the desert. There's no way that this creep took this camera and brought them to the home and then brought them back and then threw the no. What I think happened was the lamp was at the bedding of the truck, and you know, they were taking pictures, and one of them dropped the camera and it hit the bedding of the truck, and the camera took, the flash took. Or during the midst of them screaming from seeing this creep approach them and doing something to them, one of them tried to take the picture, and as they raising their hand up to try to take it, bam, it fell too short. Now remember, this camera was found a few feet back from the truck. Investigators said at least almost 100 feet back from the truck. Now this case was almost 22 years ago, and this is the truth on why camping can be so scary, because there's so many cases that just remains cold. Remember, in the middle of this desert, you have no cars, you have no cameras, you have no CCTV footage. Now they had the CCTV footage of them in a grocery store, but it's like camping when it goes wrong, it's no joke. There's a serial killer targeting just cheerleaders on the loose. At this current game that you are seeing, he's out there watching them, and nobody in the crowd have no clue that the worst is about to happen. Targeting girl after girl after girl. So then we fast forward to game night, Friday, located in Texas, River Oaks. All of the girls, the cheerleaders, are heading out to the game to enjoy the game and cheer their team on. Now this girl named Susan was at her house waiting on her friend Roxy to pick her up. She didn't have her license, so her parents couldn't pick her up either, because her parents went out to dinner. It was just Susan all alone at this home waiting for Roxy, the other cheerleader, to pick her up. But then remember, Susan is all alone at home waiting for Roxy. The house phone rang, because you know, around this time, 1980s, house phones was big. So as the house phone ringing, she wanted to know who that was, hoping that it was probably Roxy. She answers the phone, she picks it up, she says hello. This man voice says, "Is your parents home?" She says, "No, they're not home." Why? It goes quiet. Then he just hangs up. Now I don't know around this time if she found anything weird about this, but she shook it off. She was just pacing around the house waiting on Roxy, because she have her uniform on. Roxy is running late, they got to make it to the game. But then the phone rings again. This time she answers it, and it's her sister. Now as she's on the phone talking to her sister for a couple of minutes, she can hear the front door cracking open, like the little creak of it opening slowly, like really slowly. Now as she's hearing this, she know at this very moment somebody is walking inside of her house. Also notice in Texas at River Oaks, apparently people don't lock their doors because it was too safe. So people was not locking their doors at all. And I don't care where I'm at, where I'm located, I always have to make sure the doors is locked. Like right now I'm in Europe currently, but I always make sure before I go to bed, make sure the front door locked and all of the other doors is locked if I'm booking an Airbnb. And I only brought up Europe because I'm in Romania and it is technically really safe here. Like really safe here compared to where I'm at in America, New Orleans. But as Susan is on the phone with her sister, she tells her sister, hold on, wait for a bit. She puts the phone down, goes to look and check out who's coming inside of her house. Now when she looked down the hallway, she see this man with no shirt wearing this red mask and his pants is unzipped. She turns around, she tries to run, the guy runs after her and catch up to her really quick. Now as he grabs her, she starts crying and and he tells her to stop crying. He forced himself on her. She had no choice. But remember, the house phone is down. The sister didn't hang up. Susan didn't hang up. So the sister on the other line can hear everything that's going on. So then this creep in the mask noticed that some audio is coming from this phone. He goes and he walks up to it, and this creep in this mask confirmed that somebody through this telephone was hearing this whole thing. And he just ran off, and he gets in his black pickup truck, and Susan tries to get a glimpse of who this guy was, what he was driving, and it was hard to tell his face because he was wearing this mask, so she didn't know at all. All she seen was this black truck just driving off. Now yes, as she said, it changed her life forever. I mean, I don't get why people have their doors unlocked. I meant, you know, she was a cheerleader at the time. You really should blame the parents because it should be in their DNA as they grow older to be like, when that door is unlocked, immediately lock it. I mean, I grew up thinking that if Ranger knocks and rings the doorbell and my parents not home, don't you dare open the door. I mean, this is how I was raised. And what's so crazy is, you know, because this is around the 1980s, around that time in the 1980s, serial killers, kidnappers was even much more of a thing. And you have to realize why is because no internet. A lot of these men was desperate. A lot of these men didn't have the chance to see everything that they can see now freely on the internet. And yes, you know, of course, we're still gonna have our creeps in 2025, of course. But in the 1980s, we all know it was at a more insane level. And also, real quick before we get back into the story, it is more insane levels in China and Japan because a lot of the guys who's 40, like 20% of the men, 25%, over 25% still have their V card. So a lot of these men in Japan is desperate. That's why stalking there, it is so high. That's why when I posted that video on TikTok, people had a lot to say about Japan and the stalking because it is crazy there. And in China, it's like 30 more million men than women, meaning a lot of these men gonna pass away still with their V cards because there's not enough women to go around. And this type of energy creates crazy, insane men. But back to Susan, you know, she returned to school like nothing ever really happened.
We really were kind of upset still at Susan, our cheerleading sponsor, kind of had to say, look, something bad has happened to her and you need to knock it off. Like, don't ask her about it either.
Okay, so the coach said the girls need to knock it off, the cheerleaders need to knock it off, but Roxy, what happened to Roxy? It was Roxy's fault. It wasn't Susan's fault that she couldn't take it. If Roxy would have showed up early and picked Susan up, this would have all been avoided. But it was almost like this creep was stalking Susan because he knew, this stalker knew, soon as the parents left from Susan's place, he knew to call this number. How did he get the number? Oh, it's somebody Susan knows. Gotta be. Now, when Susan is at the games, cheerleading, after all of this done happened to her, after her being embarrassed to tell anyone, she was just shameful to tell anyone, so she really didn't. She kept it like a secret from all of her friends, which is understandable. But as she's at the game, she's just cheering, but she's also paying attention to everyone on the bleachers that's just sitting down looking at, because she want to know who this person is. And she couldn't really focus because some people would just stare dead at her and she would think, oh, maybe it's him. You know what? Maybe it's him because he looked at me kind of creepy. It was just making her go insane just a little bit because it made it feel like all eyes was just on her. Now here's the thing, as Susan rumor starts to spread a little bit and get a little bit bigger, and as everyone started to know, not everyone, but a lot of people started to know what happened, another cheerleader and a coach who's a woman, the same thing happened, but at different times later on during that year, after what happened ensues. The other cheerleader, she was just alone, and then she gets a phone call. Is anyone home with you? And same thing. No one's home with her. She's home alone. Then this guy, the cheerleader explained, this guy with the red mask came inside of her home, creeped in. We don't know if it was through the front door, the back door, maybe the side door, the window, the garage, because I guess they keeping everything unlocked in Texas around this time. But he entered the home, and he done the same thing to this cheerleader, and he also done the same thing to the coach. Now, it was almost like he was stalking these women, like literally just stalking the house, seeing if they live with someone, and if they do live with someone, he stalk and just wait for that opportunity to where everyone leave except for the victim that he wants. Now, when he thinks she's alone, he calls the number just to make sure that you're alone, and when it's confirmed, he goes inside and he does the same thing that he did to Susan. Now, one of the girls decided to have this black bar on their room door, like it looked like some crazy movie stuff. You have this black bar on your door, you need all of these keys to unlock it. She was this scared, and we're talking about the older coach, and this older coach also had kids, and she didn't want her kids to be walking alone. It terrified her, and it made her way much more aware to stay safe. And that's the sad part, and that's usually what it takes for a lot of people. Like, it has to happen to you. Like I said, this does suck. It has to happen to you in order for you to really stay safe. And that's why I be telling y'all at the end of my videos every time to stay safe, so y'all don't have to go through something traumatic and then be extra paranoid, have extra PTSD, and then that's why I truly be like, stay safe, and I mean it. Because now she cannot live life normal. It's like this paranoia that goes on, and for some people this lasts years and years and years, sometimes their whole life. Sometimes it lasts just a couple of months to a year, and then it goes away, and you don't know, depending on the situation, how much this is going to affect you and linger on to you. And that's what makes it scary, because nobody want to live like that. Now, a girl named Lisa graduated from the cheerleading school. I wouldn't say cheerleading school, it's a regular high school, but she was a cheerleader at this high school, and she graduated, and she will work a regular job at this restaurant place. And after work, she was tired, so she goes home, and before she gets in bed and go to sleep after this long day of work, she checks on her mother, because her mother is really sick, this disease, and she couldn't speak or she couldn't move, and she was bedridden in the living room. So she was just there, sick, laying down in the living room. Once the daughter checked on her, she seen that she was okay. So she went to her room. She got in bed, she closed her eyes, and she fell asleep. As she's sleeping, her room door creaked open, and this man with this red mask is just looking at her as he creaks the door open while she's asleep. And he walks up slowly to her to where she can't hear him at all, and she just, getting her beauty sleep. And he's just pulling the sheets off of her slowly. And as he does that, he then grabs her like really quick, really hard around her neck. The first thing that she thinks about is actually her mother, not even the danger that she's in at this very moment. So then Lisa is like, my mother, did you do anything to my mother? And he says, I won't do anything to your mother if you just do what I tell you to do. And he forced himself on her, ran out the room, like jogged out the room, and then went right in front of the mother. She followed him. I guess he didn't know that she followed him yet, and he just takes off his mask right in front of the mother, looking directly at the mother. Lisa called one of her male friends and just was crying her heart out to him, and they was just talking. They're trying to figure out the situation. She's embarrassed. She don't want to really tell her mom yet. She's just telling the mom that was a friend, don't worry about it. Now, she didn't see his face. She only seen the back of his head, so she didn't really knew who this guy was, and she couldn't tell by the haircut who this guy was. But because he took off that mask with no care in front of the mother's face, this man knew she was sick and couldn't really speak that well and couldn't really stand up at all, and that's why he didn't care. Meaning this guy, and I'm sorry to say it this way, but he's a good stalker, and he knows what he's doing before he goes with his action, because he's attacking all of these girls like this, knowing all of the information about all of these girls and not getting caught at all. Now, you would think immediately maybe it's a close friend, but when he talks, because he talked in front of their face, the girls didn't have no clue. The voice didn't sound familiar, didn't sound like a friend's voice, wasn't shaped like a friend. Everybody is thinking at the time, this has to be a stranger. It's no other way. Now, remember that girl Roxy who was supposed to pick Susan up? Well, Roxy's sister was also then attacked, making her another victim. Now, Susan, she just had enough. She knew all of these victims had happened, so she went up to the girls and she would question the girls. The girls would all group up and talk, and they noticed something. Okay, we all know that he's wearing a red mask, and he had on these same pair of jeans. with the same pair of shoes, and his body build was the exact same how all of the girls was describing it. So they knew that it was just this one same guy. Now here's the creepy part. As the girls is describing this man, trying to figure out who it may be, they all turn to the guy who was there, the one and only guy, the football player who was there. He was all of their friends. And as they looked, it creeped them the hell out because they described him to the T. And you know, this guy's name Wesley, he gave this like face. He was just like closed mouth, didn't say nothing. But remember, as the girls was grouped up at this home, there was also a father here at this home as well. And the girls had this to say.
And we had just said to the dad, well, he's built like Wesley and has arms like Wesley's. And he says, Wesley, come here. And he said, let me see your arm. And he pulls his arm over. He said, you mean it looks just like this? And we're like, yeah. And Wesley yanked his arm back and went upstairs without saying a word.
Another attack happened. It was a lady at a laundromat. Broad day. It wasn't at one of them laundromats late at night. This was daytime. This creepy guy with the red mask come in this laundromat and attacks her and then runs off. She was another victim. And then we get to Rita and Amy. Side note, I do want y'all to know that the police did not want the public to know what was going on with all of these victims. They kept it hidden. The only reason why certain people knew is because the girls was going out telling people and spreading the word. So then we get to Rita and Amy. The two decided to move in together and live together for a bit. And they knew about this whole situation. And they would lock their doors. They would make sure the doors are locked. They stayed safe. A couple of more days go by. Rita comes home from work late at night. She drives up to the driveway. It's pretty dark in this area. She gets out her car. And as she's walking up to the door, she noticed that this door is wide open. But it looked like it's been kicked in or something like that. But she sees that this door is wide open. She said, oh, no. Now, this apartment is pitch black dark, meaning she cannot see anything inside of this apartment at all. So before she steps in, because you know how some front doors have the lights next to it, she's like, how can I explain this? She's like this. No, for real though, who's going in there pitch black dark knowing that there's a creep roaming the area? So then she comes freely open and looking and being careful still. As she's being careful, she sees red all over the floor. She know at this exact point, a murder just happened. The carpets, the walls. Now, I'm sorry. It wasn't Rita that went inside of the home. It was Amy that went inside of the home. So Rita supposedly should be in the house. And it's her red everywhere. Her red is everywhere. And as Amy went to go get another friend, or she got her sister, then he got a baseball bat, and then they checked the house completely. They should have never done that. Luckily, they didn't get hurt checking, but they should have just called the police immediately. They checked around the house with the baseball bats. And you can see how this house looks. And I'm gonna be real, at nighttime, this does look like it'll be a creepy place. And they found her. They found Rita. And they noticed that she was stabbed a lot, with the murder weapon still being right there. This was crazy, like really crazy, because they already was scared enough that this guy was coming in and creeping in the house, forcing himself on them. But now that this turned into like one of those brutal murders, a switch done flipped. And then a conspiracy theory happened. Okay, this guy Wesley, remember the football player, when the girls were grouped up and it was talking and they was describing this guy and they all looked at him? Well, this theory happened to where people around the community was like, well, maybe when y'all said it was Wesley, this football player, he hated it. It pissed him off completely. And when y'all just assuming that it's him, even probably if it is, y'all assuming that it's him, pissed him off completely and he did not like it. So it made him want to murder. Now that was one of the theories. Does it sound too far-fetched? No. But if he's innocent, then what? Let's continue with the story and we will see. Now, the day after the murder, speaking of this guy Wesley received a call from Roxy. Roxy, you know, is one of the cheerleaders. Actually, his girlfriend. It was her birthday. She was throwing a birthday party, and when he arrived to the place, when Wesley arrived to her place, his shorts was wet. And not only that, they was covered in red. Not his shorts, his jeans, his blue jeans. Them jeans that the girls was describing in the group, wet, and it was covered in red. And you know, as she questioned him, she's like, what happened to your jeans? He said, well, football practice. It was just an accident in football practice. You know how us guys get sometimes. It was just an accident. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. It's okay. It's okay. Trust me. It's okay. Now remember, Wesley and Roxy, they're dating. But Roxy's sister was overworded by this creep with the red mask. I already think around this time that it has to be somebody that they all know. It just so happened that Wesley is just fitting and he's fitting in so perfectly. I don't want to accuse him just yet, but we're just gonna see. Like I said, I'll be doing these cases blind, reading it and going over it as I'm recording it. So everything that I find out as I'm recording it, you find out. But do y'all honestly think it's him or it's some stranger or maybe some other friend or family member? Who knows?
Today, 19-year-old Wesley Miller was charged with the Stratton murder. Miller was chosen best all-around senior at his high school last year, the same school where Aretha Stratton cheered.
Then I realized Wesley met the description.
Now, of course, they tested those genes that Roxy saw. When investigators tested those genes, the red on his genes matched the scene, that murder scene at that home, Aretha's. Now, in this picture that you're seeing, he was just targeting all of the girls on the left. This was kind of scary because it was like he was going from left to right. After he targeted all of the girls on the left, he was going to target all of the girls on the right. When he was at court, he went through his trial. He pleaded guilty for the murder, all of those counts of R-wording all of those girls. Now, you know, he done all of this. He's gonna get the life sentence? No. What actually happened was he got one of these great lawyers to just manipulate the judges in a way. Basically, he made all of the R-word victims different from the murder. So he made that a completely different case. And then also what he done was, this lawyer of Wesley, what he done was, he made the judges feel like it was such an accident. You know, he's this poor kid. He's this poor young person that have his whole life ahead of him. So instead of the life sentence in 25 years, he's free. But he could be on parole and walk in the streets in 8 years. Yes. Now, he does his sentence and this guy get free. And guess what? A lady was getting attacked. She ran away from him and she reported it immediately. Now, to this day of 2025, Lisa is a mother of 3. Congratulations on your little 3 babies. I hope you having a good life. And then we have Rona. You know, she hasn't really been mentioned that much, but she works with the government and she's loving life right now. Congratulations for you. I hope you're doing great. And Susan, actually to this day, she solved cold cases. You know, you could be in one of my videos. We could do an IRL, you know. Now, these 3 women was making it really difficult for him to be free. He's going to be locked up for life because of these 3. If it wasn't for them, he would be free, just walking the streets. This is as good as it gets. All right, y'all. Look, thank y'all because we on the road to 300,000 subscribers. For the ones who really vibe with me, and you hear from TikTok, welcome to the channel. Because even though my TikTok is not really brain rot, my content is not meant to be fast-paced at all. It's meant to feel like a movie where you can just chill, where you can just, you know, relax or do chores, do makeup, do nails, fellas work out. It's meant to do all of that with the type of videos that I make. You're not brain rot if you watch me, because I truly do not want to make my content fast paced. Nah, like, no. And also, it's one of the big reasons why people who cannot sleep put on my videos to go to sleep. It helps with so, like, the type of video that I do helps with so much different situations. It's not just entertainment. With that being said, this photo of this man on a dirt bike was taken right before Louise's death, right before she was murdered. Now, Paula Louise is 41 years old, and she was working a night shift at this hotel. Now, Paula gets off of work at around 11 p.m., so her time was coming up. She was getting ready to pack and leave, and she get a text from her son saying, "Mom, I'll pick you up from work with my dirt bike." So after that, around the time of 11 p.m., she gets out of the hotel looking for her son. Now, I'm sorry I said dirt bike, I meant motorbike. Now, the son was so excited to drive his mom around with this motorbike, so she loved it as well. And she was happy to get on the back of his motorbike to drive back home. She saw her son in the distance. She ran up, she gave him a hug and a kiss, then she went back to go get her purse. Now, remember, this is important. When the mom came out of the hotel to see her son, the son was already waiting outside of the hotel, but without his bike. The bike is around the street, so they gotta go and turn and go down the street to go locate his motorbike. So when the mother went back in the hotel to get her purse, and then she said goodbye to her workers, and the son was right there next to her, so they both left the hotel together, and the son said, "Yeah, come on mom, let's go to my motorbike where I always park at." And as they went and turned and walked down the street to his motorbike, it wasn't there. So the mom is like, "Are you sure you parked it at the right spot? Do you remember where it's at?" He said, "Yes, I remember. This is the spot where I always park every single time I pick you up." The mother sees that he still have his keys in the hand, meaning that someone stole it and hotwired it, and that's how they was able to run off with the motorbike. But you have to realize that when the son left his motorbike, it was literally only for a very short amount of time all of this happened. Maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes max. So this person hot wiring his bike that fast, popping the dirt bike open and locating the wires. Maybe they rolled it away to hot wire it. So the mother is like, well, maybe this person is in an area still trying to hot wire it. We can look for them. Now here's a photo of the city in Mexico where they are at, San Cristobal. It's located in Mexico, and by this picture you can tell that it's a lot of people living here. And by all of these homes and all of these buildings, if someone stole it and rolled away, it'll probably be hard to find them. The mother knew that the son was gonna go look for that bike because he loved that bike. And the mother is like, okay, I know that you're gonna wanna look for this bike no matter what. So that's why I wanna help you look for the bike. The mother should have said, it is not worth your life looking for a bike. Let it go. The reason why it's not worth your life, because this city is actually dangerous. And it's not safe walking at night. So trying to steal a bike from a thief, it may not end well. So Paula, the mother, she's thinking, you know what? If we do see the thief, I'll take out my phone and take a video or a picture of this person just in case to send to the authorities if needed. Now the two is running, and when they're running in these dark alleyways. Yes, they have street lights, but at the same time it's dark and it's creepy. So you can obviously tell that this place gives you that vibe that you really shouldn't be here in this hour. But as they're running from street to alley, they actually found the person, and they see the person rolling this bike away to bring it somewhere to hotwire it. The son gets to the guy first, right in front of the bike, and he starts yelling at him to give him his bike back, and yelling, and the mom runs right behind her son, yelling to get the bike back. But then there's another man coming in on a bike from behind them. As soon as they turned around to see, because they can hear the engine of the motorbike that was coming, you just see this guy holding a gun, and the mother instincts was to jump in front of her son. As she's jumping in the way of her son, she's also having her phone out and taking pictures, and then all of a sudden she was hit in her chest. The guy who shot turned his bike around, drove off, and the guy who had the bike of the son, he dropped the bike and he ran the other way. They both left, leaving Paula on the ground and leaving the son standing up. The son calling for help. The ambulance come, they bring her to the hospital, but she sadly did not make it. This is the photo, and this was such a high quality photo. Now the reason why this photo is kind of giving you that chilling vibe is because you can see her shadow in front of her son taking the picture, and if you look at the guy on this motorbike, you can see him and a good bit of his face. And right before she took that picture, it was all over. And because of this picture, 2 days after the murder, this guy was arrested, along with the guy who was strolling with that bike and who stole the son's bike. He was arrested as well. In Maryland, at night before midnight, Elizabeth and Rose was walking down Main Street. You know, they was just enjoying their girls' night out, just vibing. And the reason why them two was vibing together was simply because it was their last night out, because both has to go to college. And as you know, high school and college. After high school, most of us don't even talk to our friends no more that we were so close with. And then if y'all just so happen to make it after high school, college, it's like this final boss. When you two go to college, y'all really separate, slowly but surely. Some people just happen to make it through all of those stages. Even if you don't go to college after high school, having a job and becoming an adult make you lose all of your friends. But them two wanted to be close, even though that they were still going to college. They didn't want it to break their friendship slowly but surely. So they enjoyed their last day together before they headed off. The two got a couple of drinks and they headed towards this train track place. Now at this train track place is just a bridge for the trains. And I guess this is the area where people love to chill at. I mean, if you watch Footloose, I don't know why I'm thinking of Footloose, but I remember a train scene and people was just vibing and chilling at a train spot. And I know, at least back in the day, you know, the early 2000s, 1900s, people love the train areas to chill and drink. I wonder if that's still a thing in 2025. But as the two is at this train area chilling and vibing, the unthinkable will happen to the two, and it honestly give me some creepy, eerie Final Destination vibe. Now the two get on this train bridge, which is called the train trestle, and they sit on the ledge and they dangle in their feet and they just watch the view as they talk about their semesters in college and life. Now them sitting on this ledge and sitting on this bridge where the train passes, it's perfectly safe. Like, you would not be in a train way at all. So the two is just dangling their legs, chilling and talking, enjoying their drinks, you know, talking about how much they're going to miss each other because it's their last day. And then Rose decided to get out her phone and take a picture of their feet dangling. And she also got that photo and posted it to Twitter saying levitating at Liz Nasty. And it was like seconds right after she hit post they heard this loud sound from behind them. They didn't really have time to react to it because it almost happened so fast. Now, the loud sound that they heard behind them was the train, but the train tracks is too far back for the train to even hit them. But it was from the train. Now, this is why I said it give me some Final Destination type eerie vibe, because the train track unfortunately derailed a bit. And when it derailed a bit, it completely messed the train up on its tracks. Meaning all of those metal little carts, it all leaned over and fell to the side. So it's like the train is driving, then it leaned. Now in these carts was thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of coal that we use to grill things, but of course for many other reasons. And at the top of these carts, it was open. It was one of those train carts that as you see go by, you can see what's at the top if it's filled up enough, or you can see just like this opening at the top. So when this train leaned over and the coals fell out, it all buried them alive. And it was so much that they couldn't get up and get out. Now, I don't know truly if it made them pass away instantly, because this is thousands of pounds. But if not, they was buried underneath to where they couldn't even move. So by the time they was pulled out, it was just way too late. The family of each did receive a settlement. And I know it's a lot. The family sued them, and they should be eaten for the rest of their life. The amount is disclosed, nobody knows, but come on. Now for this bonus story, it came from one of you. This is one of your stories, and it's actually about the woods. And this is about a creepy story inside of the woods, and the ending of this story is absolutely insane. And when it deals with the woods, this could really never be a good thing if it's a horror story. And I know a lot of you been sending me y'all stories. I have a lot to go through. I have to even make a whole video dedicated to y'all stories possibly. So this girl named Jasmine emailed me saying we went to the New Hampshire woods. They wanted to go camping. And if you look at this area of the New Hampshire woods, it looks beautiful. Like if you want to go camping, if you want to just get away from the world, this would be the place to go. So Jasmine and her boyfriend, they decided to zip up their suitcase, because they only wanted to go for like 3 days. So it wasn't really too much. Both of their clothes was inside one suitcase, and they decided to get their camping equipment and they tent and leave to the area. Now the thing about this couple is them two both agreed to go far out inside of the woods. We're gonna go deep. We want to feel the experience. We don't want to just go halfway. We want to make this feel like an actual camping trip, because this is something that we always wanted to do. So they ended up having to park their car, and they ended up having to go deep inside of the woods, and they walked for a long time. Now she didn't say how long did they walk, but they walked long enough to where they was really deep inside of the woods, to where if they walk farther enough or turn wrong to get back to their car, they can get lost. They made sure to trace their steps and to look at certain parts of the woods to take pictures of where they need to direct themselves back to the car when it's time for them to leave. So the first night they have their tent and they just enjoying each other's company late night in the woods. I don't know why I haven't mentioned this sooner, but they also bought their dog. This dog is a German Shepherd that they've been having for 5 years. The boyfriend actually got this dog for the girlfriend as a gift 5 years ago. So the two been dating for a long while. And the first night, Jasmine sleep, her boyfriend sleep, but the dog hears something like footsteps inside of the woods. So the dog starts barking. Now immediately when the couple woke up, they thought maybe it's some animal out there, like a deer that's causing the dog to bark like that. Immediately they're thinking animals. And this actually woke the couple up, and they couldn't go to sleep right away because the dog was barking for quite a while and they wanted to shut the dog up. So when the dog finally stopped barking, the couple actually hear what the dog was hearing, the steps inside of the woods. Yeah, it's late at night, but I do want to say around this time they didn't think that it could be some creep out in the woods. They're too far out for anyone to be in these woods. So they knew that it was an animal. So the next morning comes, they get out the tent. When they look at the ground, they're shocked. They notice clear as day that is this shoe footstep prints on the ground that was walking late at night. So it wasn't an animal. It's confirmed that this was a person. So the couple said, oh, okay, I guess this person seen that we was camping here. So maybe they wanted to stop by and say hey, but they seen that we was probably asleep or just doing our own thing and they didn't want to distract us. So they decided to walk around just to see if they could find anyone else camping, and they did not. This starts to worry them because they're like, why would someone be so far out in these woods like this? People wouldn't really just go exploring, walking late at night like this. And this made the couple feel really uneasy because it honestly gives them serial killer movie vibes. Now, as the couple was walking to try to find any tent, they actually did. They found this tent set up, but it was kind of destroyed. It was kind of messed up. It seemed like it'd been there for a few weeks because that's how messed up and destroyed this area looked, and they decided to explore it. Get curious. Let's just check it out. When they went to go check it out, they seen it was obvious that someone was here recently. But not only that, why would they leave some important things here like this? Why? You see this empty wallet at this campsite. You see a pair of shoes at this campsite. Even though they didn't find nothing inside of the wallet, they found a couple of cards placed far away from the wallet, maybe like 15 feet, so I guess not that far. They also found little spots of what seems to be human red stains around the camping site, on the tents, and even on the shoes that they seen. Another key important thing, why would somebody leave here, was glasses. Obviously these glasses were prescribed, but why would this person leave these glasses here? The two is automatically creeped out, and they feel like they just entered a crime scene, but they just didn't know it yet. So what ended up happening is they cut their trip short. They were supposed to stay for another extra day, but they said, you know what, since it's getting late today, you know, it's already 6 p.m. The boyfriend is telling Jasmine, we're going to stay the night and we're going to leave first thing in the morning. They just did not like the vibe. Now they wanted to leave. They already wanted to leave that day, but remember, they walked too far deep out in the woods. By the time they was going to walk to their car, they will be walking in the woods at nighttime because the sun was already going down by 6 p.m. As the two were staying the night, they really could not sleep, even though they had their dog to protect them, and even though the boyfriend had a gun to protect them as well, just in case something was to happen. They came prepared, but still, they was up all night. They couldn't sleep. They was worried. They was listening to footsteps. Gladly, that whole entire night, they didn't hear nothing like they did last time, because what they actually did was move their tent area in a different location. They didn't want to stay at that same location and sleep there. Why? Some creep was walking at that area and knew we was there. Why would we sleep there again? This is when it's about to get completely creepy on a whole nother level. When the morning happened, they leave. They leave like first thing in the morning, barely slept, eyes red, tired. They walk to the car. They leave. 2022 of April, they get some crazy news.
4 days after a husband and wife were found near a walking trail in Concord, New Hampshire, investigators still cannot explain what happened to them, and neighbors are getting more worried by the day.
Okay, understand, this was a couple of weeks after they went camping, and all of a sudden this couple was found murdered in the same area they was at?
Married couple in their 60s regularly took walks at the nearby broken ground trails. But police say the couple never returned from a Monday afternoon walk in the woods. They were reported missing Wednesday, and Thursday they were found from multiple gunshots.
Now, immediately they wanted to know if this couple also went camping, had a tent area, and did this couple, Jasmine and her boyfriend, was actually at the crime scene the whole time? Still to this day, they don't know though, because that camping site that they was at has not been connected to that case of the couple being murdered. What made it odd to them too though was when they was looking through pictures of this couple, you could tell that this couple older, and usually when couples are older, they wear glasses. You know, them finding the glasses there, they was like, what if it was one of their glasses? They wanted to think and hope that it wasn't, that this just all a coincidence, because also the shoes, remember the red on the shoe was also some old people looking shoes. She gave me a screenshot of what type of shoes that she's seen. She tried to find the exact shoes but couldn't, but the shoes are similar to this picture you're seeing now. This is the type of shoes that an old person would wear. So on April 2022, April 26, the police actually was investigating the woods to try to solve this case of the couple that was murdered. It is confirmed that they was murdered. Nothing accidentally happened. So Jasmine says she would never, ever in her life go camping in the woods again because it was very traumatic for her. And that's all it takes. It just takes that one experience to just go completely wrong. And now you have some strong PTSD where you can't even go inside the woods really no more. This is an incredibly crazy story to me. Do you think it's a coincidence? Do you think the camping site have something to do with this couple? Even though on the news and on reports and on news blogs, it is not related at all. And also, the person who was creeping and walking in the woods, was that person involved at all with the murder? Who was the creep walking, and why was they walking late at night? Crazy. Now from this other story, somebody posted this picture on Reddit. You see this socket, this wall plug, and this person, when they took a picture, they noticed that this looked like it has a camera inside, a hidden camera. So they decided to turn to Reddit, and you can see On the top it says, "Help, is this a hidden camera?" Side note, this is inside of this person's home. This can mean a couple of different things. Before this person decides to live here, someone placed a camera inside of this home, meaning this person been dealing with this camera, stalking him for a very, very long time and didn't even know it. 2, who's ever coming in and out his home, maybe it's his ex, maybe it's some crazy girl he dealing with, maybe it's a crazy friend, decided to install this hidden camera. Now, I want to go back into this video which you're seeing about this creepy stalker, because I really didn't get into it for real, and this video is really, really terrifying, and I don't think I talked about this on my channel at all. So, as you can see, it's this girl. She's all alone, going inside of her apartment. Mind you, it is broad day, but when she gets in the apartment, this man comes out. You notice that? What he then tried to do is knock, so she can open the door and be like, "Yeah, hello," and then he would have bust in the door immediately to force herself in. But maybe she looked through the peephole and seen that it was this guy who she didn't know, so she didn't bother. By the way, she did look drunk in this CCTV footage, so maybe she didn't really care, or maybe she didn't even hear it, or she was too exhausted to even go check on the door. Luckily, she didn't open the door, moral of the story. But then as you see, he's seen the CCTV footage. He lowered his head, tried to cover himself, but he didn't care. He still went towards the door, playing with the doorknob, just hoping that she goes close to the door and open it. And then it looked like he found something on the floor, so he tries to see if he can pick the lock with it, but notice immediately right off the back that he cannot pick the lock with it. But it didn't start there. Actually, as she was walking on her way to her apartment, she was already been getting followed by this creep. She just didn't know it. And as you can see on CCTV footage, she's just walking and he's quite of a distance behind her, so he don't look suspicious. Like, he's so much of a good distance behind her that there's 2 people in front of him. He want to play it off this good, and you can see right here she looks back. I don't know what made her look back. Maybe she was already creeped out of this guy because he probably been following her, but she looks back and then she turns back forward and just keeps walking. And look, she walks in this little alleyway, enough for like a car to fit through it. But luckily this is broad daylight, because if it wasn't, maybe he would have took the opportunity to try to take advantage of her if it was late night in this alleyway, because nobody is not going to pass through this alleyway. But he's following her, and then he enters the same elevator as her. She lucky that he didn't do anything to her when it was in the elevator together. Really lucky. He wanted to wait. You know, good thing he was kind of hesitant as well, because he could have been right behind her as she entered the apartment and forced himself in, but he was kind of hesitant. He wanted to play it off really cool, and they got him being locked outside of her apartment, which is a really good thing. Now the thing about this is, I think this is in Japan if I'm not mistaken, but in Japan it is said, and I would apply this rule all over because it's the safe thing to do, but it is said, do not take the same route. Don't do it, because you take the same route home every day. You go to the store around the same time every time. You have some creep watching you and you don't know it, and this gives them a much easier opportunity to do whatever creepy thing that they want to do to you, because they know your routine. So with that being said, this person might have followed you multiple times just to see if you may pick it up, because you have the same route that you take at a certain time every time they follow you, and they just see if you're gonna pick it up, and they're just gonna see if you're gonna catch on to them, but you don't, because everything seems fine, everything seems normal. Then when they get comfortable enough, they do something like what you're seeing here on CCTV footage, and it gets this crazy. A lot of the times people be thinking, okay, this guy just seen her and followed her, Like that was his first time seeing her, and he just no. Usually these people be watching for a very long time, days, weeks, sometimes months, and then they go do what they plan. Now look, yes, no one wants to live paranoid at all, but when you do live in a crazy world, you might as well want to stay as safe as you can. So if you take the same route, or if you go to the same store almost every time, try to see if you can see the same faces every time. Just peep it. That's all you got to do, and it could possibly save you. Now look, wait, I want to give y'all a treat. Bonus, a vlog. Y'all said y'all wanted vlogs for me when I travel, so I wanted to give y'all about 50 minutes worth of story time. Majority of creepy, crazy stories, and then the rest, the ending, I top it off with something light. When I say light, I meant nothing dark, nothing creepy, nothing scary, something fun, a vlog. So come enjoy Europe with me. Come on, let's go, let's go. Y'all, it's a vibe. It's like, to me, it's crazy that not one fight broke out. All of these people, and we're talking about thousands on thousands, and not one fight broke out? You know what's crazy? He got all the girls here. Oh yeah, he gonna get like 30 numbers after this. If he don't get 30 numbers by the end of this, I'm gonna be disappointed in him, to be honest, y'all. I think she falling in love right there. For sure. For sure. He got it. Now apparently they do this like probably every Saturday. No, every Sunday they do this, where they take all of the cars off the street, and after they take them all off the street, we can all just walk. Y'all, I accidentally found a band playing live. Here's a little better view. My guy got on a tux. My guy got on a pink shirt. My guy got on a suit with the piano. I almost forgot about the guy playing the guitar. The moon is out so perfect right now. Right now, it is currently raining bad. Look at the clouds. Like I said, I was going to give y'all this special treat, this special vlog, and it's starting to rain heavy, like really heavy. Update, I'm currently under a tree because this is my only protection from getting wet. I'm currently not wet yet, but I got a plan. Chat, look at it, chat. It's GG's. It's GG's. Now at nighttime, this spot do be a little spooky. I did have a guy approach me with a knife. He was like, yeah, somebody like you shouldn't be here at this area because you're a tourist. Very cool guy, very chill guy. But I was like, what? Me? Oh, look at this. You see that? Beautiful. But I was like, what? Me? He was like, yes, you. And this guy looked like he was on drugs too, so maybe he just wasn't right in the head. But this did happen in this exact area. And I wasn't scared. I was talking to him. I approached him, and very cool, chill guy. I just think he was just drugged out his mind. So if you do come to Romania, probably avoid that area. Every time I see this waterfall, I just love how they do it. I get amazed every single time, literally every single time. So I can't get tired of it. Like, you can't get tired of this. You can sit down next to this and relax every day if you live next to this. It's just beautiful. You can't go wrong with it. See, you see the cute couples in the back. Like, it's a vibe. People out like the early 2000s, and I'm here for it. So cute, look at them. Overall vibe. This is more of the old town dinner spot, but this is my favorite spot. I'm gonna show y'all in 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. All right, this is the most beautiful spot ever in Romania, hands down. This is my favorite spot, and I still haven't took a picture here yet. I don't know why. I took multiple videos, but this, I can't get enough of it. So here's a better view of it up close. Every time I see it, I get amazed. Look, I gotta show y'all how beautiful this is. Look at this. They call this the mini Paris because it looked like Paris, but the miniature version. Woo! I was singing the song to you. How you doing? You good? You sound good. You sound good. We love now.
Most people will just enter a room and they go about their business. and these items just blend in.
Now, roommates terrify me simply because why would you let a stranger in your house pay for rent for one of your rooms? Yeah, I get it, it helped with the bills, it helped your situation out if you're struggling, but a stranger in your home? Miranda.
She responded to an ad on roommates.com for a furnished room for rent, but months after moving in, Miranda Goldson
At first, when she let this man in her home, everything was going flawless. Everything was really going good until she found out his dark secret. Now, this guy would have a charger everywhere he go in the house. He would plug the charger up in the walls and always be on his phone. He was like addicted and attached to his phone. Now, of course, Miranda seeing this don't draw any alarms to her because a lot of people are addicted to their phone. Like you probably addicted to your phone. You probably be on TikTok 12 hours a day. But months will pass. Then she noticed some weird behavior that this guy would do. He would have the plug in the wall, just the plug and not the charger, and he would leave it there. Why this was weird to her? Because he left it there in her room.
People need to be careful when they're choosing someone to live with. Come on in.
Now, why would a charger piece be plugged into the wall, just left there, his at that, in her room? She found it weird. She took it out the wall. She's like, oh, you forgot your charger in my room. What? Now, Miranda was confused because she didn't know if he left it there on purpose for whatever reason or on accident, because yes, he do come in sometimes to talk to her, but he never come in to sit down. So she was wondering in the back of her head, how did he even have time to plug it in when he don't even sit down and talk in my room? We always sit down and talk in the living room. But she didn't think too much of it because it's just a charger piece. Time would go by and then it happened again. So she decided, take it out the plug and look at this charger piece. And she noticed that it was a camera in the inside of this charger.
had hidden a small video camera pointed at her bed.
Finds a suspicious looking phone charger in her home.
She says that fake phone charger turned out to be a spy camera.
It's a device you use every day.
Meaning, yes, every time she would take off her clothes and be completely naked in her room, he's watching. Miranda has a shower in her room because she has the king bedroom. So when she showers, she leave her bathroom door open inside of her room and he's watching. Right when she come out the shower naked, drying off. When she had those moments where she wanted to please herself in bed, you know, those lonely nights. Because she was a single lady, he was watching. And she didn't even know that cameras like this even existed. The only reason why she decided to check the camera in the first place because she was so suspicious of his weird behavior with this charger piece.
You may want this for a variety of different reasons. Maybe you're just a creep.
But the whole time, her lovely, great personality roommate, because he was a great roommate, they was vibing really good together. They was having really good times together. Outside of him being creepy, keeping that dark secret. Roommates is terrifying. If it's your friend, cool. Family member, of course, cool. Family members. Sometimes they're weird too, yes. Now, of course, family members, it's not as bad because it's family. But I have to talk about this because sometimes your family members are so stupid. Like, get it together right now. I'm sorry for hitting you like that, but if you're the stupid family member, you deserve it. Why? Because there was this girl recording her sister every day. Secretly, she would basically make sure that there was space on her phone for her to record her sister for hours in her room. She would secretly place her phone in her sister's room and let it record. Why was this a problem? Because she would post it on the internet and the girl would just be laying in bed doing her own thing, chilling, minding her business. But luckily, every time she got undressed, every time she did anything personal, it was out the camera's view. But it was only a matter of time until she was going to get seen on camera doing her personal things. Because she don't know there's a camera there. It's not like she's purposely dodging a camera, so eventually she's going to get caught by the camera. But that doesn't happen because she actually one day spotted and noticed the camera as she was laying on the bed like how she always do. And she told her sister, what the fuck? The sister was like, oh, I'm sorry, I just wanted to... Actually, I don't have a reason why I did it. Just bored. As you can see, the video is really grainy. Internet wasn't as popular at the time. So I can believe that. And plus, she was a younger sister, so I get it. But I really don't get it because you can't be that bored to do something so stupid. But I guess she didn't think about what can possibly happen. This is the internet. I mean, it is YouTube that you're posting this on. For Creep was to see that and get a hold of her doing some personal things. Now it's out there for the world forever. But back to the roommates, because it only gets a little bit more yuck. This douche. Let's talk about the first hidden camera. Hannah was cleaning inside of her room and then she noticed something.
So the first camera was hidden underneath a PlayStation remote on my TV console, pointed towards my cupboard and mirror.
It must have been a nasty surprise.
It was, yes. My heart definitely sunk.
Thinking quickly, Hannah took the SD card out of the small box camera and downloaded it onto her laptop.
I found video clips of his face setting up a camera, video clips of myself getting changed as well.
Now I know y'all see her talking to the interviewers, but when she found that first camera, she didn't call authority. When she was talking to the interviewers, this was after everything done happened. So she finds the camera, as we all seen. She confronts him about it, and she tells him, you know you weird for doing this, right? And why are you doing this? You know, he came up with his excuses. He was apologizing, saying he would never do it again, and she accepted his apology until she thought something was off days later.
Was until 10 months later, she found an iPhone on her windowsill.
I walked in from after having a shower in the bathroom, then I realised that the blind had been raised and I could see a camera of an iPhone camera sticking in the bottom corner, and then I reached through the broken flat screen and grabbed that camera.
And pulled it in,
to discover that it was still recording.
Yes, this guy was so obsessed with stalking her with cameras, hidden cameras, that because he couldn't use the hidden one anymore, he decided to use his phone. And he would record her even in the bathroom. He would sneak in her room while she's gone, make sure there was space in his phone so he can record her for hours. He would hide it behind the toilet and watch her get undressed or use the bathroom or take a shower.
The police also said that there was phones placed into the toilet, sitting behind the toilet.
Wow, would you in your wildest imagination have thought that someone would put a camera in a toilet?
No, not at all.
Wow.
No, that was very disturbing.
Oh, by the way, you know his response to all of this after he got caught?
Angus.
What's going on?
Angus, Chris Allen from A Current Affair, mate. Wanted to ask you some questions about your unfortunate habit of filming your former flatmate.
Yeah, I don't really give a
Meaning, there's a high chance that he's still doing some crazy stuff out there to one of you girls, and you just don't know it yet. And mind you, this could be for one or two reasons. To please himself, of course, because he have some type of fetish for this, or two, he's selling it to people who love this type of thing, because this is a real thing and it does happen often.
Are sharing explicit photos and content for cash.
You now can have this custom board. You can decide who is going to have access to it, and they're the only ones that can see it.
Now let's talk about one more lovely lady. Her, the one who you're currently seeing. So let me make this clear. You have her room on the right side and then his room on the left side, and there's a wall. In her room, next to this wall, is the shower, because her room has a shower in it as well. And then the shower is facing her bed. And then you have his room, and next to the wall is his bed. Now his bedroom don't have a shower. Every time she takes a shower, she didn't know that she was getting watched every time.
Move. This is Jacob's room. He just moved all of his stuff out. I'm having a panic attack. That is our shower. That's our shower. That's our shower curtain. Ryan, go in there. I literally feel like I'm gonna have a panic attack. Are you in the shower? Oh my god. I can see it.
And I want to be honest, it's almost, if you're not really aware, I'm gonna just be honest. Most people who do hidden cameras simply don't get caught. Of course, people gonna slip up, but there's hidden cameras in places where you would never expect. Cruise ships.
Install the camera in this bathroom and you hid it above this door.
Airbnbs, of course, hotels, of course, public restrooms, of course, and of course inside of your everyday items, hidden cameras.
So just by looking at the spy camera pen, it looks just like a regular pen, and you can even write with it if ever needed.
Like for an example, let me find anything. This lighter could be a hidden camera.
Right here is the lens, and right over here is the microphone.
No, I don't smoke. I use this for candles. But yes, a lighter can even be a hidden camera. You can make anything a hidden camera. Yo, we always getting watched secretly. At this point, I'm used to it. Look, whatever you see is what you see, because I know you not checking every time you go in an Airbnb or a hotel. That's crazy. I'm probably really on the hub somewhere. Like, we probably really on the hub, or like somewhere out on the internet. Hotels, couples, one night stands, drug addicts, especially if it's a hotel near somewhere that does a lot of prostitution. It's so much different situations that people could just place cameras in these hotels and nobody know, and then sell our information for everybody to see. But